Good morning, my name is Isis Torres and today I'm going to do a video analysis from the story by Guy de Maupassant, The Necklace. I'm going to start with the plot. Mathilde Loisel is unsatisfied and unhappy with her social life. Her husband loves her but doesn't really understand her. After Mathilde's husband gets her an invitation to the Minister of Education's mansion, she gets really sad and says that she can't go to that party without a decent dress. Monsieur Loisel gives her money to buy a dress, but then she complains because she doesn't have the appropriate jewelry for the occasion and refuses to use some pretty flowers because, according to her, they're not fancy. Mathilde's wealthy friend, Madame Forester, lets her see all her jewelry and told her to choose the one that she liked the most. Then Mathilde saw a necklace of diamonds. She asked for it and Forester kindly lends it to her. At the ball, Mathilde attracts the attention of many men, and she felt truly happy. After the ball, she arrived at her apartment with Monsieur Loisel. When she was taking off all her clothes to go to sleep, she realized that the necklace is not on her neck anymore. Both start searching for it and they don't see it anywhere, so they decide to work hard and pay for it. Mathilde, with the help of her husband, started doing the chores of the house, took off the nail polish and fired the servants to save money. All the cleaning and work got her exhausted and she doesn't even have time to take care of her looks, essential things like hair, makeup, and so on. After 10 years, Mathilde encounters with Madame Forestier. She has a son and she seems young and wealthy. Mathilde tells Forestier that she lost her necklace and she has been paying for it. She also told her that she got her a new one. When Mathilde told her how much the necklace cost her and her husband, Madame Forester confessed that the necklace that she gave to Mathilde was fake. The conflict in the story is the fact that Madame Loisel is embarrassed by her poverty. Even though she is physically beautiful and married to an understanding husband, she believes that the key to her happiness is in expensive necklace, balls, and the luxuries that come with being wealthy. Now I'm going with the setting. Maupassant doesn't really name the time or location, although he leaves many hints as to which city is the setting from the necklace. Using the currency, which is francs, titles Monsieur and Madame, naming the most famous streets Champs-Élysées Avenue, let us quickly get the idea that the story's location is in Paris, France. What's more, the ball takes place in the heart of Paris, the Ministry of Education. Speaking of the time, we can draw a parallel between the ironic and pessimistic narrative tone and the realms of the 19th century Paris life. The majority of middle-class families financially struggled then. The highlighting attribute is a marriage built on no more than financial benefit. Now I'm going with the characterization. This is Mathilde Loisel, or Madame Loisel. She is a very pretty, charming young woman. In the first paragraph of the story, she was directly described as, "The girl was one of those pretty and charming young creatures who sometimes are born, as if by a slip of fate, into a family of clerks." She's the main character in The Necklace and the embodiment of insecurity and greed. Her desire to become wealthy got her involved with the necklace, which she thought was very expensive. This is Monsieur Loisel, Mathilde's husband. He is a clerk at the Ministry of Education, having no wealth or status. He works a modest job and provides Mathilde a modest life. He procures the invitation for the ball for Matilde and helps to work off the debt for the necklace. He loves Matilde immensely, but does not truly understand her, and he seems to underestimate the depth of her unhappiness. This is Madame Forrester, Matilda's wealthy friend. Madame Forrester treats Matilda kindly, but Matilda is bitterly jealous of Madame Forrester's wealth, and the kindness pains her. It is evident that she has a great friend of Matilda, and she used to help her in every sort of way that she could. But Matilda used to suffer from an inferior complexity. Madame Forrester was very rich, and Matilda was not that rich and wealthy. The necklace story is written from a third person. It is limited to Matilda and Monsieur Loisel. The reader never hears the thoughts of any other characters, and we only see the actions of other characters as they affect Matilda and her husband. In this story, the author utilizes a third-person narrator who possesses a limited omniscience. This narrator is exposed through the fact that there is never an I in the story. The necklace is a symbol of wealth. The very necklace represents desire and all the things Mathilde Loisel did not have in her life. Secondly, their apartment with frayed walls symbolizes her present or actual status of life and how miserable she feels. Now, I'm going with the figurative language. In the story, I found two examples of metaphor. The first one is, she seems to float through a cloud of happiness, and she dances madly drunk with pleasure. An example of simile in the story is one of those all-night prowling carriages which are only to be seen in Paris after dark, as though they are ashamed. One example of hyperbole is when Madame Loisel explains, "You can imagine that wasn't easy for us who had nothing." This is a hyperbole because she obviously didn't have nothing, especially because she bought a new, real diamond necklace. The personification of fate is seen in the first line of the story. She was one of those pretty and charming girls born as though fate has blundered over her into a family of artisans. The phrase "as though fate had blundered over her" suggests that the concept of fate has its own goals and motivations, just as people do, and it has made a mistake by having Mathilde be born into a simple family rather than a family of wealth and social standing. By the end of the story, readers learn that perhaps fate had not blundered at all, and that perhaps Mathilde had some lessons to learn about being humble. Now I'm going with tone. The tone of the story is pessimistic throughout the narrative. Mathilde's only asset, her beauty, is lost because of the strenuous work to pay for Madame Forestier's worthless piece of jewelry. The irony is horrible in Madame Loisel's life, as she becomes even unhappier with her fate. The woman ends up lower down the social ladder. At the end of the story, the tone is depressing and bitter. Irony. The horrible irony of the fact that the Loisels spent years paying off a replacement for what was a worthless necklace is just one instance of irony evident in the story. Also ironic is the fact that Mathilde's beauty, which had been her only valued asset, disappears because of her labor for the necklace. She had borrowed the necklace to be seen as more beautiful and winds up losing her looks completely. Perhaps The most bitter irony of the story is that the arduous life that Matilda must assume after losing the necklace make her whole life, the only one she resented so fully, seem luxurious. She borrows Madame Forester's necklace to give the appearance of having more money than she really does, only to then to lose what she does have. She pays doubly with her money and looks for something that had no value. The themes on the story are greed, deceptive appearance, and beauty and vanity. Greed is because Mathilde Loisel's overwhelming desire to live a life of luxury blinds her to the comforts she already possesses and ultimately leads her to her losing what wealth and status she initially has. Deceptive appearance is because Mathilde is preoccupied with the appearance of wealth and spends years working to replace a necklace that is eventually revealed to have been a fake one. And beauty and vanity because while Matilda's beauty allows her fleeting moment of social success at the ball, she has lost both beauty and vanity by the end of the story. Now I'm going with the allusion in the story. In the necklace, the allusion is Cinderella. Matilda was one of those pretty and charming girls born, as though fate had blundered over her, into a family of artisans. Both of them were born in a poor family and desired to be wealthy and be on a high social status. This is the end of my video. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoy it.